Have you ever wondered how one single decision can shape the course of your life? Ponder this as we delve into the story of a person who chose to be a student and not a follower. Once upon a time in a small town lived an ordinary man named John. John, like many others, was working a 9-to-5 job, living a life that was dictated by societal norms and expectations. He was a follower, living a life that was not of his own making, but a product of others. Opinions and instructions. One day, John stumbled upon a book. It was a self-improvement book that challenged him to take control of his life, to be a student rather than a follower. Intrigued yet skeptical, John decided to give it a shot. He began to question his life choices, his decisions, his very existence. This was not an easy process. It was like unlearning everything he had been taught and relearning from a fresh perspective. But John was determined. Slowly, he began to see a change. He no longer took advice as orders, but as information. He started to process this information, think about it, and ponder it. He began to question, to wonder, and to think. He was no longer a passive follower, but an active learner. John began to take control of his life. He made sure what he did was the product of his own conclusion. He stopped doing what others told him to do and started doing what he believed was right for him. He was no longer living a life dictated by others, but a life driven by his own beliefs and convictions. The transformation was incredible. John was happier, more content, and more fulfilled. He was no longer an ordinary man living an ordinary life. He had become an extraordinary man living an extraordinary life, all because he chose to be a student and not a follower. This story illuminates some key points about the importance of being a student and not a follower. First, be an active learner. Don't just take advice as orders, but as information. Process it, think about it, and ponder it. Second, make sure what you do is the product of your own conclusion. Don't do what others tell you to do. Do what you believe is right for you. Lastly, don't let others dictate your life. Take control of your life. Live a life driven by your own beliefs and convictions. Remember, the power to shape your life lies within you. Be a student, not a follower. Take advice, but not orders. Make sure what you do is the product of your own conclusion. Don't let others dictate your life. Live a life driven by your own beliefs and convictions. And so, dear listener, as you go forth into the world, remember John's story. Remember the power of being a student, not a follower, and most importantly, remember that your life is a product of your own conclusions, not someone else's.